What is good, everyone? It is the Crooked Commish here at the Clubhouse, the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Happy holidays to y'all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you're celebrating. We're here happy that you're here with us here at the Clubhouse for the pregame show of the Bears versus the Seahawks tonight, a Thursday night football game. So hopefully Santa was good to y'all. Hopefully Santa will be good to our beloved Chicago Bears. Here's one of my newest trinkets here. Thank you to my parents there. But hopefully the Bears can give us a late Christmas gift as Bears fans and give us a victory tonight here versus the Seahawks. But if they do, if they are able to do it, it sure as hell won't be an easy victory. The Seahawks definitely have a lot more to play for than we do, at this point in the season. They're still fighting for the division title and more or less a playoff spot at that. So they will be short a running back. They won't have Ken Walker. We won't have him to deal with. But his backup, Zach Charbonnet, is nothing to look over. He definitely had his way with the Cardinals earlier in the season. And with our run defense still being an issue, there's a chance that he may have a good game against us as well. Hopefully, Zach Pickens will have something to say about that. Hopefully, the second-year guy will show us something here. He's kind of been non-existent so far in his NFL career. A lot of that having to do with injuries. I know. But still, with the little amount of time that he has been on the field, he really has not shown too much. But he can make a difference today. Hopefully, he will prove us wrong and show us something a little special today. Get a sack or two on his own and be an effective and a player that we're noticing on the field and saying his name, not because of penalties, but because he's getting some sacks or tackles from loss or just making some sort of big plays. But with that all out of the way, let me go ahead and get my other crew in here so we can break down this game, talk about, and right on cue, we have the Packer fan jumping in saying we're going to lose. Maybe. So, but hopefully not. So, best of luck. Thanks, Brian. Thanks. So, let me get in my first co-host here. He's our coach, Seth. He's a little under the weather, but he's a trooper, and that's why he's still showing up tonight because the coach can't call out. So, Coach Chef, how you doing?
Yo, what's going on, world? Chicago land, Chicago Bears fans. What's going on, Crooked? Same to you. Andrea, happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Get a bear down Andrea. Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Don't worry, guys. I wasn't going to miss today. I requested this day off in October.
Dedication. There you go.
Yeah, when I got here, I looked at the Bears schedule, and I was like, I'm already off Sunday, Monday. So I was like, any days in the week that we played in these funky games, when we played a Saturday, Thursday night. Excuse my voice. For those who have children, you know that children are cesspools of germs. So one of my shorties got me sick.
And the plan was for this to be an important game. Maybe a game, like, hey, both teams may need this win.
A wild card.
Yeah, for sure. But unfortunately, things don't always go according to plan.
No.
As we all know as Bears fans.
No, they don't.
Ryan Poles knows that too, right?
Oh, my goodness.
We'll get into it. But before we do, let's go ahead and bring in the loudest guy in the clubhouse because he's always on level 10, and that means he is always amped up. What is good?
What's good, everybody? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, big dog.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, man. Sorry to hear that you under the weather,
like
man.
Andrea said, nothing went according to plan. It sure as hell didn't, Andrea.
Not a damn thing.
No.
Not a damn thing this year.
And the other thing, so real quick, before, here's another thing that I'm kind of like with our quarterback, Caleb Williams, that I'm a little reserved, and let me find the right way to say this. Really, so I'm a little concerned that all his yardage and all his good players are coming in the second half of these games when we're already behind, 20 points and whatnot. So what I'm concerned is like the progress that we're seeing, or the stats that we're seeing from him, how valid are they? Because here, like what I'm worried about is the defense is up a good amount of points. What they're maybe saying to their defensive unit here is like, hey guys, whatever we do, no quick scores from these guys. If they score, it doesn't matter. As long as it takes them 8 drives or 8 plays, 10 plays, it takes about 8 to 9 minutes off the clock. Don't worry if you give up a touchdown, because guess what? We'll get it back, and we'll take off another 8 minutes and take another 10 plays to score our touchdown. So when they get the ball back, it's damn near fourth quarter, or maybe a few minutes into the fourth quarter. So even if they come back and score maybe another touchdown or get a field goal, again, don't worry about it as long as you don't get beat quickly. Don't give up a 3-play touchdown. Make them go 10 plays to score that touchdown, because it's going to take time off the clock, and by the time we get it, we'll score again, kill the clock, and by that, when they get the ball back, there's maybe a minute, 2 minutes left, and they still need to score 2 touchdowns to win. You know what I mean? To make it interesting. So with that being said, all the progress and all the stats and yardage he's getting during the second half, it makes me worry a little bit. Is it because the defense is kind of just worried about not getting beat deep quickly, or is it real progress? Because what I would like to see this game is for them to score and get these points within the first 2 quarters of the game, and not so much always scoring at the end of the game. But maybe I'm just being paranoid. Coach Chef?
No, all the stats matter. I mean, because he's accomplishing them. I'm not worried about the second half stats, because when you're down, every team that's down typically turns it up or throws the ball more. So that's just a phase of how football goes. But I can look at past quarterbacks. I can look at our past 2 quarterbacks. I can look at yardage that was not accomplished by Mr. Trubisky, who had a great a damn good defense and okay talent around him, but his inability to push the ball to get consecutive 300 yards and not to throw picks, and not throwing picks because you're taking shots, but not to throw picks because you're dinking and dunking, you're Charlie check down, you're afraid to make mistakes. I can look at Justin, who his entire career he played from behind, and he's not throwing for these yards. Not to bring him back up in a negative or positive way, but he still went down the field, whether it was pass or run. I can look at the rookie from last year. I can look at the Panthers quarterback. They played him almost every game, and he was down every single game, and he still didn't put up not even 3,000 yards, I don't think. So him putting up yards is him putting up yards. The arm talent is there. Now, of course, he's got some things to work on. His deep ball accuracy, which is phenomenally scary. It's reminding me of some Mr. Trubisky type shit.
Yeah.
But he's taking more shots. He's not afraid to take the shots from what I'm seeing. He's going to getting the ball in the air 15, 20 yards of air yardage. It's just hitting the guys that we clearly have to work on, and getting the ball out fast. Like all of the things that we did when we didn't want Caleb at the end of the last season, we were like, oh, just take Marvin Harrison. And then the reality checked in saying he's just a better quarterback than what we've had here. And it's a fact. He's a better quarterback. He gets the ball out faster, arm angles. He can extend plays to his detriment because he doesn't run for yardage as much. So I don't take the yards as empty yards, empty calories, as they say. No, he's getting these yards. We've had multitude of comebacks where we've been in games up until recently. Especially our first 3 games in the division. We were in every game. Those games are not touchdown games. Those games are like field goal scoring games, essentially. You got into overtime for a game. So I don't think it's empty calories. He still has the rookie record. He's still probably going to be top 10 single season for passing yards. So
yeah. What are your thoughts on what I said about worrying about maybe the second half, the stats being in the second half, maybe phantom stats or whatnot? So
no such thing, Commish. No such thing. You know what I mean? Every yard earned, every yard that he received, he earned it. You know, I'd like to see him do that in the first half. You know, but yeah,
true.
Yeah, they're all his, man. Yeah,
and that's
you know.
Yeah, and like I said, not to take, like I said, a bunch of credit away from him or whatever. Yeah, he earned it. He still hasn't thrown in an interception. He's taking care of the ball relatively well. Hasn't had too many fumbles, at least not as many as he had in college. So,
that was my biggest criticism. That was my number one biggest criticism. It was his fumbling issue. We had a quarterback who fumbled a lot in Justin, but was getting yards rushing, and he has not fumbled. So that's one criticism. My number one criticism from him that I can say honestly, he's protected the ball better. Sometimes a little too safe, but hey,
right.
Even the last fumble he had was it was going to be the fumble because it was behind the line of scrimmage, not so much him being stripped or him being too loose with the ball. So,
granted, well, and then this most recent fumble, it's going down as his fumble, but everybody that watched that game knows. Yeah, Rome didn't secure that ball well.
That's an NFL thing. So if the quarterback is handing the ball off, regardless of whose fault it is, since he's the last person to engage in exchanging the ball, it goes to the quarterback. That's a universal.
It's got to land on
universal
somebody
stat.
At that point. Yeah. So, unfortunately, we're not a team at this point that can overcome early turnovers like that. The fact that it was back-to-back turnovers was really killer. Detroit's already has a good offense, and then you give them a short field and an extra possession, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we've played behind the 8 ball enough times throughout this season that you think we should be used to it and kind of learn how to overcome these hurdles. But the fact that we're dealing with an interim coach right now and an interim offensive coordinator right now doesn't help us to kind of get over those hurdles. It just adds extra weight to us to try and have these players, get past all that stuff.
And that's what I was about to say, Coach. Crooked Commish, man. That's what I was about to say. Getting over these hurdles, man. This is at this point right now. Like I said, I said a couple of weeks ago. We're 9 games in a row. We've lost 9 in a row. It's just like the team is giving up. You know what I'm saying? On the field, that's the way it looks. That's the way it looks to me. That's just my opinion. It looks like they're giving up, man. You're talking about 9 games in a row here. Was some of that Flus? Yeah, Flus is not here anymore, so it can't be him. You know what I mean? You had those players in the locker room cursing them out and cursing each other out, and what happened? Absolutely nothing. Besides, the spotlight got brighter on polls.
He had to go.
I'm not trying to.
Flus had to go regardless, right?
Yeah, he did.
He
had to go like last year. Last year he had to go, actually. Mm-hmm.
And that was the last thing we needed is him to stick around, hang around here, like alligator blood, hanging around. And then all of a sudden we win 2 or 3 games or we finish the season on a high note. And then they start justifying, hey, well, we finished strong.
They finished strong, right.
Maybe we shouldn't pull the plug on this guy. Now that he's out of the
That's why they kept him last year.
Well,
but that's why they kept him last year.
And we didn't want to see that same shit happen again. So that's why, it's even though they've looked worse, at least on defense for sure.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Since getting rid of him, at least the head of the snake has been cut off, and we can not be foolish and try and talk ourselves into maybe we can just give him 1 more year and blah 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 or any kind of bullshit like that. It's just we know we need a new coach. We need a new offensive scheme, So it is what it is, and once the season ends, we can hit the ground running and start to hire him. Hopefully, we evaluate and look at all our options, and we don't hire him, have another quick hire, kind of like we did with Eberle's here. As soon as it's almost like the first person we dated, we went and rushed to the altar to get him married right away. So, hopefully we don't do that, and we actually look at all the coaches out there and stuff, and take a good hard look at them all.
I don't want to dive too much in this coaching talk again, but Me and you did a show 2 weeks ago, just like choices or options we may have. And the name that was at the top of my list is still a name that I haven't even heard as an option. And he's an OC, and I'm surprised I haven't heard him up for any head coaching job. And that name is Kellen Moore. Like what he's doing with that offense in with the Cowboys, like it just goes back to all the stats or the things I said about him having a multitude of quarterbacks and still finding a way to get offenses to run and to be somewhat effective as his time as an OC between 3 different teams in the past, since he's become an offensive coordinator. And it's just surprising, no matter any podcast or show that I've seen, no one's bringing him up. Even when you watch like it's just an NFL coaches thing about the next upcoming group of coaches, Kellen Moore has not come up, which is very surprising to me. But I just wanted to say that.
I like that name better than Pete Carroll. That's for damn sure.
What up, Trax? What up, Trax?
Trax, thank you for joining us. Good to see you, Brandon. So, Pete Carroll, hearing Pete Carroll was interested in this job. It's just like, I'm sure he is. There's a lot of guys.
I like him better than I like Pete Carroll before he got to UNC. I liked him a lot better as a name than it's Belichick. But shoot, he's 70 plus too.
He's old. No, exactly. He's almost just as old as Belichick, though. That's the issue. Now, granted, I like him better than John Gruden.
He doesn't come across right. He doesn't come across as old. His energy, the people, every team he's ever coached is like, he has this infectious energy, this youthful energy about him. But it goes back to if you got a guy in the 70s, no matter how youthful he seems, how long is he going to be here?
Correct. The gum assassin, though. The gum assassin can only last so long. That guy's always chomping on a piece of gum there. So, y'all.
I didn't want to talk about. I didn't want to talk about potential head coaches. I want to talk about what we have.
Well,
what we have going forward.
What did you guys think of that trick play that the Lions ran on us, where they faked the fake stumble there?
When you're good, you're good, man. When you're good,
check this out. When you're good, you practice like you play. You know what I'm saying? Blown coverage on that one. Again,
because of the play. The play was so convincing.
Well, you guys yelling, ball.
You seen it, and you know what I'm saying? You've seen it before. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just it was just another play, man. It was another play that the defense missed. They missed. You know what I mean? Our defense is not what it was. You know what I'm saying? Well, we kind of like had that to throw our hats on. You know what I mean? Our defense is good. And they have not been good, man. And so when I seen that old fake stumble, man, it's like, then I look up and I see the receiver streaking by itself. No safety in the picture. Corner's been blown past. It's just, it's our defense, man.
That was the one that went to Laporta there, that fake one. And then there was that another like 82-yard bomb that was from Jameis Williamson, where he just flat out, it was no juke move. He just said, hey, I'm going to run faster than everybody else. And he ran right down the field.
And everyone.
When you're good, you're good.
Yeah, we'll see.
There was no way.
I
saw somebody online I saw somebody online was like, "Oh, Owens can't stay with Jameson Williams." No one can. He runs a fucking 4.3. The corner left him alone with a free safety. Coverage. Are you crazy? Get out of here, man. That was a touchdown. That was a touchdown in all 17 weeks, unless he was already 20 yards deep and already started running before he got even. Because in football, if you're even, you're leaving.
Haven't heard that one before. I like it though.
You never heard that? Nah. As a receiver, the trick is if I'm even with the guy, I'm leaving him.
You're going to be able to burn him once I really run my speed or hit the jets.
Once you put the ball in the air, every receiver, you put the burners on. I don't care if you a 4.3 guy or 4.5 guy. If I'm even with the DB, I've got a better chance of beating him than if I've got the safety 5 yards ahead of me and the DB is ahead of me. If he's like trying to turn on, come on, man. Guy like that, if you even,
put that shit on the shirt. Put that saying on the shirt. There you go.
And not for the Bears.
You then need to find somebody that can burn somebody. That's for sure. First, so which is surprising that I think we were talking about this on on the side as far as DJ Moore. All his routes in Carolina were deeper routes or deeper played routes, and he has not run any kind of a deep route at all with us.
Not this season.
He's getting up.
Not a lot.
They're trying to give him the ball a lot more in jet sweeps and kind of carries here and there.
So whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
At this point, it is what it is because you don't really have a real offensive coordinator. Your offensive coordinator has been gone. You have a substitute offensive coordinator. It's not even his system or scheme. He's just kind of filling in, trying to work with what kind of shit is in this bag.
That's what I said. So whose fault is that? He's not running deep routes.
A guy like that is you got an offensive line thing that's connected to it. You have a possibility of a guy who you believe, hey, we got to get this guy the ball sooner. So you also have injuries at running back. So that's kind of hey, how do we get our guys who can do something with the ball in their hand, the ball faster, jet sweep, handoff? It's just small things that you don't have to wait to do those things. Screens or any causation of when you're trying to get a guy like DJ Williams the ball sooner is just trying to get the guy who can make people miss in space. DJ Moore. It's just another way of trying to get him the ball in space. And it doesn't help that you have a running back health issue. So that's why he was getting carries for 2 or 3 weeks because Roshan.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
It was the injuries. Roshan got hurt. I don't know whose fault it is. Someone gets hurt.
It is what it is.
I'm talking about the running back carousel. I'm not talking about a player getting hurt. I'm talking about this carousel with the running back, the carousel with the old linemen, the cornerbacks.
For sure.
Yeah, man, the cornerbacks, the safety, the guards, the tackles. Man,
it's seeming like
safety's a health thing too. You're missing Brisker. You had out hits.
Yeah, I just
you had
said
injuries.
That.
So
I just said that, and those that are stepping up are like,
there are no backup Pro Bowls or all pro players. So
name one Pro Bowl on the Bears. One.
DJ Moore.
Talking about this season. This season.
No one's making the Pro Bowl.
This season.
There are very few losing teams that have Pro Bowlers. You're losing almost unless you have like a Hall of Fame type talent. No one's making the Pro Bowl. Hardly ever, unless you got some overwhelming guy.
You read that, Commish?
Yeah. So Brandon says he wants to make his case on why Pete Carroll can save the ship and kind of steer it the right way and get him.
What do you do in 5 years? What do you do in 7?
Yeah, I mean he's not a long term. Like I don't know if Pete Carroll's the right guy to help develop Caleb Williams. You know, I mean. And I get it. He did it with Russell Wilson, but that was like 15 years ago, you know, when he was 15 years younger. You know what I mean? Like,
he was 15. I get it. I was like, damn, 15 has been that long.
I mean, Russell's been in the league for a while now.
It's been over a decade. 10, 11 years. It's been over a decade.
Yeah. So, I mean, the man was younger back then as well. So it's like, that's like, to your point, how much longer does he really have? This next coach, I mean, we theoretically want him to be here at least 8+ years. But, I mean, like I said, that's if things go according to plan, which, you know, we all see how well they go to plan, you know, like, so anyways, with
I don't want to pile on, man. I don't want to pile on to this mess that we're experiencing.
With the loss here of Ken Walker and whatnot, I mean, is there what path do you see? How are we going to be able to kind of maybe steal a victory away from the Seahawks and maybe play spoiler to their playoff season and whatnot, if at all possible? I mean, we definitely need some more defensive turnovers, that's for sure.
Thank you, Showman Multimedia. Yeah, we were getting there. Yeah, we were getting there. Yeah, we were getting there. We didn't forget. I mean, at this point, we are the pregame show, but in a season like this, what information do you need? We get our ass whooped, dog. What you mean we allow 30 points? So the question is, how do you not allow 30 points? Stop the run, tackle the guys in the open field, not let guys with space between 5 yards between defenders. I mean, that's basic football. Tackle, block, like shit. Otherwise, the show with 15 minutes. Hey, guys, welcome to the pregame show. How do we win? We tackle, we block, we score. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Like, come on now.
Okay, I will.
But they got to stop the run. Charbonnet can run the ball, even though he's a backup.
He can.
Jackson
He had a really big game
Smith
against Arizona.
is now the new number one in here. I know that TK Metcalf has kind of had some injuries, and Tyler Lockett's on the other side of 30. But Geno can still throw the ball vertical. They can still run the ball. Geno is throwing more interceptions because he's 17 to 15 on turnovers, touchdowns to turnovers, so he can still give you the ball. He's been sacked 45 times this season, so you can get to him. You should be able to get to him and have more chances. But this team has found ways to win. Not the last 2 weeks. They lost to our division. They got pretty much beat the Packers beat the blocks off of them 2 weeks ago, 30-13, and then they had a close game with the Vikings. So, man, it's what we've been dealing with as the Bears for the past 2 weeks since Thomas Brown's the head coach now, which is a whole nother issue because you throw him more on top of a guy who whose role was smaller than it was earlier. Is you got to stay in games early. You had to eliminate mistakes. And if you're going to have fumbles in the first half of a game, you're not giving yourself enough. You're not giving yourself the chances you need. When you're a losing team, and I've been on winning and losing teams, when you're a losing team, you have to minimize the mistakes to keep you in the game longer. And if you have mistakes early, you're sure not going to be in the game late. And if you stay in the game long enough, but you have mistakes late, you're not going to be in the game at the end because you're doing too many things wrong. Winning teams find ways to win. Losing teams find ways to lose. I mean, that's a cliche, but it is. When you're a losing team, everything you do that's bad is going to come across as, oh, this is why we lost. This is why we lost. This is why we lost. When you're a winning team like Kansas City, everything you do seems like, oh, it doesn't matter. They'll make it up because they've got the benefit of the doubt. When you're a losing team, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
So let me ask you this, and as far as matchup-wise, then what do you think? Which receiver do you think is more important to kind of keep in check? Is it still DK Metcalf or is it Jackson Smith-Njigba as far as being able to try and
DK still
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At this
15
point,
yards of carry, man. 15 yards of reception.
That's where I was going. It doesn't matter.
Jackson's in the slot. It doesn't matter. You've got one receiver's got 1,000. The other one's still on pace to get 1,000. DK's at 897. Even with Tyler Lockett being the third guy now, he's 32, but he still got vertical speed. So if you give a guy like Geno Smith time, everyone's open. And as we've seen the last couple of weeks, everybody's been open versus the Bears pass defense. So if you're damned if you do, damned if you – it's not even damned if you do. You're damned if you're damned because we ain't stopped nobody.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, well, neither through the air or the run. Like I said, the run game is still a major issue. Watching Sonic go off, that they didn't even have Knuckles over there in Detroit. It was just and he was just gashing us 7 yards, 8 yards at a time.
The Bears have allowed 30 or more points their last 3 games. In fact, they've allowed 30 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games. 30 points to Minnesota, 38 points to San Francisco, 30 points to Minnesota again, and 34 to Detroit. So you've got to overcome so much to not allow teams to score. You can't give the team short field. You got to make them go the long way, as we say in football. When you're a losing team, there's no quick fix. There's nothing you can do instantaneously right now to fix the problems you have. One, you can stop making minor mistakes. You got to stop turning the ball over with basic fumbles. Rome played well, but he can't play well if you got 2 fucking fumbles and 3 drives.
Right.
I don't blame it on the kid. He's played well the entire season for a rookie.
I'm not blaming him. Just saying you can't have those turnovers. Like the balance.
But you're gonna have
regardless.
You're gonna have those turnovers.
Could have came from anybody. The 2 fumbles could have came from
that's
Keenan.
my point.
Like whoever the fumbles come from, you can't have it. I mean, he's young, so you're like, we played well.
Point.
If he's old, you're like, his career is over. He's an old vet.
We're way beyond that, man. We're way beyond that. You know what I mean?
Just trying to see if
they can look. The kid's career is over.
They haven't looked respectable in 3 weeks.
Nah, that's not going to happen. That's what I'm trying to say, man. It's not going to happen. I mean, the Bears are who we thought they were, man. They what we see is what we get. And so to sit here and say, you know what, if they in all three phases of the game, well, four, defense, offense, special team, and coaching, in all four phases of the game, if the Bears executed in all four phases of this game, that they would be in it. They would be in it. I'm not saying they'd win it, they'd be in it. But we haven't seen the Bears execute in all four phases of the game in 9 weeks.
Hey, Crooked, let's start with it. Before you get to that one, let's go back. Let's get all the last six. Last week, since we had so many people on the show, we didn't get into any of the comments. But you know, this is obviously a viewer's domain to view what they say, so you can respond. Go back 5 comments and let's go through each of them.
Sure, absolutely. So we have Andrea here saying we need long-term like Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, like a long-term
obviously,
solution.
we've been saying that we need a guy who's going to be here to maintain what's the word? A culture of winning. But you can't just, there's no culture of winning if you ain't winning. The culture of winning only starts when you begin to win games.
Check it out. The culture of winning starts. The culture of winning starts at the top, man. When they take their fingers off the scale, Andrea, when the ownership take their fingers off the scale, that's when. And that's when the Bears begin to win. When they let football guys do football things and make football decisions, that's when the Chicago Bears will start winning. Until then, what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? I'm talking about a fan I started at 10. I'll be 61 in 3 days. I've been watching the Bears since I was 10.
Are you saying we're spinning our wheels as Bears fans here? We're just spinning our wheels.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. And until when the old man went to Dallas and got a special team coach who had played for him before, you know what I mean? And McCaskey's like, okay. That's because it was Papa Bear. He went to Dallas, plucked Dicker off of their special teams. You know, he was a special teams coach and brought Dicker to Chicago as a head coach. That and the Lovie Smith signing, most memorable in Bears history. You know what I'm saying? But both of those signings
had any experience prior head coaching anyway.
Both of those signings were left like the old man. Papa Bear did his thing. Wasn't nobody gonna talk him out of that, man. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. He wanted Dicker. As far as Lovey go, yeah, we lucked up on that. That was lightning in a bottle. That was lightning in a bottle right there. You know, and
they drafted well. You know,
they drafted well.
Hitting on Briggs, hitting on Alex Brown, hitting on Mike Brown, hitting on.
And those are a lot of. Remember, those were a lot of those people. I mean, of course, you want to hit on your first round, but a lot of those players were mid-round players, 3rd, 4th, 5th round guys. It wasn't a whole lot of.
But
that's a middle round.
Making the right trade.
Dicker and Levy brought a culture. They not only were coaches, they brought a culture here of accountability. Those two coaches, Dicker and Levy. I'm not dwelling on the past. I'm just talking about what I seen works. What works.
All right.
You know, they brought a culture. You know what I'm saying?
Different Skylark with a different approach. Well, okay, first of all, George is never going to step down. We keep talking about them selling the team or stepping down. For who? Who you gonna step down for? Who? What? Another McCaskey? No. Brian? Who?
Let Brian take over. Brian Urlacher, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking of this more of a joke.
Bro,
maybe.
That's not. It has to be because this family is never going to sell.
All right.
Like
no, of course not. Sir cash cow.
We got to start talking the realities here. Like
they don't even have to sell.
I don't want to go in the past.
They don't even have to sell.
The McCaskey,
how about this?
Palace family are not selling the team.
How about this? You don't have to. They don't have to sell. How about this? How about bringing prior players back into the organization? How about that? How about Olin Cruz as
Are we sure that Mike McCaskey did better? Isn't Mike McCaskey the one when the guys about maybe a month ago had had on the punky QB, and he said he had an interaction with one of the McCaskies about something, and he said it doesn't matter. The people are still showing up. Which McCaskey was that? Like, what are you saying?
What I'm saying.
I got
What
the clip
I'm
right
saying.
here. Hold on real quick. Let me play this clip that he's talking about exactly. So
I had a really good team. I wanted to be there, but I mean, it just Dick and I just didn't get along, and McCaskey for sure. He wanted me gone after I wrote the book and said he had no business owning the team. And I had one conversation with that guy, and he just told me flat out. He goes, "Yeah, we're not really worried about being in the playoffs every year or going to the Super Bowl."
He said that
to my face. And he said, as long as the fans are in the stands, is what he said.
Oh my, that is ridiculous.
Now which McCaskey?
Well, the fans are going to be there, win, lose, or draw. Because
we're always dedicated.
That was the bear town.
What?
now it goes a little longer because he specifically names which McCaskey. That wasn't George. Not that it matters, but it wasn't. I don't want people to insinuate that it was George McCaskey. He wasn't the president or the CEO, whatever the label is, whatever. He wasn't in that position back in the 80s that he is now. But it was still another McCaskey, a brother or something, because these are all Virginia's children. Papa Bear only had a daughter. He didn't have a son, hence why their name is not Hallis, it's McCaskey. She married. Then she had some kids. So, okay, what we got here?
Read that, Commish. Read that.
Ben is the next Gase. They can only see offense side of the ball. What if Dan Campbell protected Ben? These are all what ifs, obviously. Ben ain't ready for that mess. We need a CEO type. It goes back to the thing you don't know. It's an unknown, to quote my favorite cartoon, The Boondocks. You don't know something you don't know. You don't know what type of head coach he would be. We didn't know what type of coach Dick would be. We didn't know what type of coach most of these guys would be until you either can win games or not. If you win games, you're winning games, you're a winning coach. If you lose games, we talk about Mike Tomlin. That's been the big thing with Mike Tomlin with the Pittsburgh is some people didn't want to hire him because he was too hip hop, which was obviously a racial trope. But that guy wasn't a head coach. That guy was a former college wide receiver who coached DBs who became a defensive coordinator. So you don't know what a guy truly has made of him as a leader of men until he starts leading men. Very few guys just step in as the head coach. Guys typically are a position coach or a coordinator or whatever. The Harbaugh brothers.
They need to do it consistently too, though, because we had that one good year with Nagy, and we thought, shit, here we go, we finally got him, and then
as fans, we kind of saw some things that didn't seem right with Nagy as far as how he ran his offense. And I say as he ran his offense because he said it in the press conference, I've got a chance to run my offense. And it just wasn't the talent because the defense was steady. It was his inability to adjust game to game with the talent they had, quote unquote, getting too cutesy. Although I could say sometimes it looks too cute when it don't work. But shit, the play last week that the Lions ran, if it didn't work, what would they fans say? You want to stop being cute. But when it works, you sure ain't calling it being cute when it works.
No, because the last time they tried to do a trick play the first time against us where the linebacker or the offensive lineman was trying to throw the ball, it didn't work out. He had to throw it out of bounds. The fans still clapped at it and thought it was cool. So
because they're winning.
Well, yeah, of course.
Winning. When it doesn't work when you're losing, you want somebody's head. You want Maria Antoinette. You want the French Revolution. What's the other one by Andrea Skylark? I totally agree about the problem.
Agree.
Go ahead.
Totally agree, but the problem is they won't. They have another shareholders that's not a McCaskey. If they sold, he would be the next owner of the Bears. So, and then
the only way the Bears would fail
my number one is
that's
Pete
not
Carroll.
gonna happen. 2
is McCarthy. 3 is Vrabel as CEO coaches. This Brandon's order. He would like Pete Carroll as his number one choice. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he even gets an interview. So
my top 5 hasn't changed. I mean, I've dropped Thomas Brown down, but Kellen Moore is still number 1. But that's my opinion, based on what I've seen him do leading a plethora of quarterbacks and offenses to looking respectable and really good, regardless of the talent around him. Because Cowboys don't have an All-Pro, Pro Bowl quarterback right now. They don't have the greatest running back right now, and they're finding ways to start winning games offensively and putting up points. So
they do have an offensive line, but they do have an offensive line playing with a second string quarterback. They do have a solid offensive line.
And they've invested.
They have a solid offensive line.
When you grow your offensive line, it's not a 3-year project. Most teams who grow offensive lines, it's a long process. But
who you tell it? I'm looking at his draft picks, man. I'm looking at Poe's draft picks as we speak, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you, a former offensive lineman, don't want to drop an offensive lineman into the 5th round? And yet you expect what? You expect what? He's expecting what?
He went through free agency to try to fix it, and it went
through a first-round draft pick. He's got a third.
Yeah, I'm talking about the draft capital that he gave up. We're not talking about the free agency boo-boos. I'm talking about draft capital. How you build a line? How you actually build it? You know, you can pull somebody in. The free agent center or the free agent left tackle, you can plug him in there, but you build through the draft, man. You build both sides of the line. I'm not telling any football fan nothing that they don't already know. You know, pretty much all successful teams have built their lines through the draft. And like you said, no, it's not a year. It doesn't take a year. And no, you're not going to draft 5 at a time, but you can. I forgot the team from back in the day. They used to take a quarterback every year. I think it was Washington. It was Washington.
Cowboys.
Washington the Cowboys. Oh, the Cowboys. Yeah. One of them. Used to take a quarterback every year. And I'm like, what a wasted pick. That's what I used to think. Until they struck on one. And it's the same with the line, man.
Kubiak ain't coaching no more.
No.
Yo, Gary Kubiak ain't coaching no more. That's why his son's an OC right now. He's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Let me air this out real fast about the experience. I get everyone wants an experienced quarterback, but let's look at the trend of the NFL. I know, guys, people don't look at trends. This is the copycat league. People don't want to look at stats. And when I say stats, I mean stats that matter, not irrelevant stats that don't matter. Every winning head coach wasn't a winning head coach until they started winning. So they had no experience prior to them winning. So let's look at our division. Who's leading our division right now? The Cowboys. I'm sorry, Lord. The Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. The Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. Right. The Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. They're 2 head coaches. How many years of head coaching, not interim, head coaching experience did they have collectively before they got the head job? I don't even have to look at the internet for that. I don't have to turn right and type nothing in. The answer is 0. Dan Campbell had never been a head coach.
Doesn't matter.
He was an interim head coach.
It doesn't matter.
He's never been a head coach.
What does that even mean? What's your point?
The idea of just saying we need an experience. Like, yes, that's an opinion, but it's not based in any factual statistic reality that we have to have an experienced guy to win. That's not.
Do we need Ben Johnson? Do we need Ben Johnson?
Maybe if he's that guy.
No.
Because the last time we hired, time the Bears hired an experienced head coach, what was our record?
No.
John Fox.
What was his record with the Bears?
Man, John Fox is not that doesn't even count, man. That's the same guy that gave up a Hall of Famer tight end.
It does count.
That's the same guy that gave up a Hall of Famer tight end.
He got hired.
The game had passed him by. Anytime he had the Bears to trade away Greg Olsen for a bum of a tight end, you know what I mean? Because he didn't want to use a tight end system. All his credibility went out the door with that.
That was Mike Martz as the OC. That was when Lovey was still the head coach. He didn't trade him.
I was Fox. I didn't say Martz. I said Fox.
No, I know what you said.
No, but the trade that you're alluding to happened during
Lovey Smith's.
Yeah,
them trading away.
No, it didn't.
Greg Olsen.
It didn't.
Yes, it did.
Greg Olsen was not on the. No, he didn't.
Greg Olsen was what team? Okay, what coach was under Greg? Are you saying Greg Olsen?
Fox.
Was Lovey Smith. Was Lovey Smith.
You're saying
Fox.
okay
When Fox got
You
there.
mean with the Panthers?
Lovie
when
Smith
John
didn't
Fox
get it
was with the
okay to
Panthers?
trade him. That's the same one.
No,
Not Fox was with
man.
Fox was with the Bears, man.
I understand
Fox was
that,
the
but he
head
was
coach
with
of the
the
Bears
Panthers before that.
when he traded. I don't know where he was before that. I didn't know where he was. All I know is he traded a Hall of Fame tight end for a bum. I know that.
He traded him away to the Panthers. He traded him away to the Panthers.
I don't know where he traded. Yeah, that's where he finished his career.
I don't know if he finished his career there, and then he signed in the offseason. He signed that tight end that was with the Rams, like I think from Hawaii.
The big guy. He's supposed to be blocking. He's supposed to be blocking.
Okay, so but that wasn't during John Fox's era. I'm telling you. Greg
Olsen was a Bear tight end from 2007 to 2010. 2010, Lovie Smith was still coaching his team. He didn't get to the Panthers.
Who's offensive coordinator? Who's offensive coordinator?
I think Mike Martz was
Mike Martz
before then. Before then, when who was offensive coordinator before Mike Martz? Because they switched them out every year for a while there.
Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator in 2010. That's when we got rid of Greg Olsen. He was the offensive coordinator.
That's when they got rid of Olsen.
I'm trying.
That's when they got rid of Olsen.
Offensive coordinator in 2009, though.
Okay, hold on. I mean, you might get there before I do, because we're kind of. It was Ron Turner. It was Ron Turner.
Okay.
Who has
was
better?
the year.
Ron Turner.
Ron Turner didn't trade Olsen. He didn't trade Olsen.
No, the organization traded him, but I'm just saying those were the OCs when Greg Olsen was here. We were alluding to the trading a tight end, but trying to just kind of get back to the experience part. If we find a viable head coach who has had experience, I just don't think having head coach experience is the number one requirement. That's my opinion, because it hasn't been proven that is going to guarantee you wins. We have to account for the things that have actually happened. Whether you count them or not count them, they happen. So the last time the Bears had a professional NFL coach as a head coach, because the coach prior, the guy who coached in Canada, but Trestman was a head coach. Thank you, Skylark. But the thing is that Trestman was a head coach in another league. You can discredit it if you want to, but he was. But prior to that, none of those guys we've had, the past three coaches, had head coaching experience. The last one we had was John Fox, and we didn't win. So that, to me, that's not a top priority.
First of all, Coachman.
That's strictly opinion.
Trestman's coaching experience, that's just an opinion. That's your opinion. Trestman's head coaching experience being in Canada meant nothing over here. So he might as well have been an OC or you know what I'm saying, offensive coordinator or DC, defensive coordinator. He might as well have been, man. And my preference is for a head coach with this team, the way this team is structured today, if we were to get a head coach tomorrow with this team, I need a head coach that's done it, that can take the reins, you know what I'm saying, and stabilize this group of men. Bring this men who all are playing as individuals right now, from what I see, my opinion, and bring them together as one. I don't think an offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator of the month or the year, Ben Johnson, whoever, unless he's bringing the rest of that team with him, and we know I'm being facetious. I would prefer a head coach that's coached before for this team, for the Chicago Bears team.
So, guys, let's get into some score predictions. We're down to the last few minutes of the show here. What are we thinking here? Is there any chance that we kind of come away with the victory here? Because if we don't win here, I mean, I really don't like our chances against Green Bay at all. Green Bay is, looking.
It'll make me wrong because If we lose today, it'll prove me wrong that I thought that they would win at least 3-4 games after they fired Eberflus. I just figured that this team would put something together to win because still the NFL. But George Ted Phillips does trust me.
He did.
Arians. We know that as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm trying to traffic more and not what we missed out on because I don't want to get I don't like the conversations when you're losing as we do. Trafficking in the past doesn't help the future, doesn't help the present. But today, they've got some guys out. We've still got Hicks out, Homer, Jenkins is out today. Oh man,
yeah, he got hurt last game. He was hobbling the last game. He like they were saying in pre-games he was not looking good, and he probably shouldn't have played. And that was a bigger kick that they didn't dress Amagaji at all. That he didn't even dress, and it's like, man, they sure as hell could have used him. But 73 was killing us as well on our offensive line. But anyways, yeah, but there's a lot of injuries here still.
So it's a home game. The Bears have typically played better at home, better in quotes of recent history. So, man,
Hi, Janet.
You got a score?
Yeah, well, we got a score coming in for Andrea. She says Bears 21, Seahawks 27. Okay, they're having the Bears hold them under 30 points, so that's some sort of small progress.
Right.
And then we have Richard Stewart here. I think that's Am's brother. Seahawks 28.
What up,
Bears
bro?
20. Roughly around the same score as Andrea. That's
Bears haven't scored 20 points in 5 weeks. That's incredible.
Here we go. This might be more realistic. We have Chicago Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us. 28-13 Seahawks. So far, we do not see any Bears predictions to win here in the chat. So, it is what it is at this point. We all see.
I got
type of team.
I got Seattle 35, Bears 12.
Okay, field goal game
12.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, last week I said 34-9. So, I mean, I got the Lions score right, but I didn't give us our offense enough credit there to score 2 touchdowns. I thought it was field goals. So I wasn't too far off.
Let's see.
Coach Chef?
Short week.
Yeah.
I don't see us winning next week versus the Packers, so I'm going to take the Bears because you got to have a win, man. Like this taste in our mouths. Pause. It's a bad one. Bears 24, Seattle 20.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Way to fucking go. Hey,
I can't even lie about them winning next week.
Someone's got to believe.
I can't. I'm not picking them next week, but I got to pick them until they prove me wrong. Now, would I put money on that? No, I wouldn't put no money on that. But I might like $1.50.
Bro,
I don't celebrate Christmas, so I got extra money from not buying my kids Christmas gifts. So maybe 25.
If
25.
anybody picks them next week.
Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
For real, if anybody picks the Bears next week.
Oh man, the last time MJ did a PSA with hair, man. You know how long ago that shit was. Holy.
Oh man, that's back when he still had
Oh
hair.
my
So
God.
it was a long time ago.
Deshaun Jackson's getting into coaching now. Yo, that's crazy.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, better than Talib, right? So let's see, Skylar. But if they keep bringing the past now, that's the problem. George keeps saying
not even
yes,
an East Coast guy.
And they won't surprise me if they do it again with the new head coach or GM. So, yeah. And then let's see, Trax. I can't believe that. Yeah, we can't believe it too. In hindsight, that looks real damn stupid. So, Bears are the Chicago White Sox, and this is from a Cubs fan. Hey, go Cubs, go! I like it, Andrea. And then lastly, from Skylar, that's
you got to stop. People can see you. People can see you crying. Stop it.
Oh, the
People
Bears.
can see
I know.
you crying.
Everybody's
People
thinking
can
saying
see
the
you.
Bears are going to lose. See what y'all doing to this boy, huh? Saying the Bears are going to lose. You're making the boy cry. Come on now, rewrite those scores in there, revise them. That ain't right. You ain't right for that, folks. I'm putting the baby crying on you in the chat. You saying that the Bears are going to lose? That's on y'all. I hope you're proud of yourself making the boy cry during Christmas.
Well,
like that.
The one benefit, my 2-year-old is not with it, but all I can say is that in this year, my 7-year-old, well, you've met Nasir. He's become a bigger sports fan. Like he keeps up. He's been keeping up lately, so that makes me proud. You know, every week he's like, "Daddy, I really hope the Bears win this week." And like, I have a calendar for all of our scheduled stuff we have in the house, and I put the Bears games up. He's like, and he knows like the signias now, so I just put versus Seattle. He's just like, "Yeah, I hope they beat the Seahawks." I was like, "You know team names?" Like my son is trying to make me proud now, man.
You're making you proud, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if he's gonna watch the game with me today. Yeah, we go to Hooters. He watches the game. You've seen him at Mount House. He watches the game.
I mean,
I mean, he's a kid still. You play with the girl, watch the team with dad. You never know. He out there on his hoverboard right now with some little girl on the scooter. So might not get him away to watch the game, but we'll see.
I like when Andrea says you got to raise these kids with a sense of realism. Evidence, all of us on this podcast.
A little do you know, my son, my 2-year-old cries about everything. It's not even, trust me.
Yeah, we were just looking for an excuse to get him on TV.
Yeah,
so that's all.
I figured that if he saw himself, he would stop crying. That's what fell on Dad's part. See, bad head coaching decision. Bad head coaching decision.
I know who I don't want the CEO for the Bears to be now. Go ahead and scratch your name off the list. Anyways, let me go ahead. The Bears, give my prediction real quick, and then let's bounce on out of here and get to where we need to get to watch this game here on Thursday night. Man, I want to say the Bears win. I really do, but the defense has not been looking good lately. I get that Ken Walker is out, and he's one of their main dogs at running back for Seattle. The K9 effect is real, but his backup, Zach Charbonnet, is nothing to look over. He's a good running back as well. He had his way with Arizona a few weeks back. I think he got to 200 yards rushing against them or damn near 200-yard rushing. So, I mean, with our run defense being a liability, they're still relatively healthy on offense. I unfortunately do see the Seahawks coming away with the win here. And I still think they're going to score a lot. I'm going to say, I'll say 31-13 Seahawks.
See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
Thanks, Mike. I don't want to pick the Seahawks, but I mean, shit. The Bears offense doesn't seem to get going until the second half, and the Bears offense needs to play four full quarters of an offensive game.
Still haven't seen it.
Not 2.5, not 3. No, exactly. So to think that we would see it now out of nowhere, I mean, that's just
doesn't seem realistic.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll end up with the number 8 pick. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get an O lineman. Maybe we can get a center. Maybe we can get a left tackle.
And hopefully they don't bust otherwise. They'll blame that on Poles too if he doesn't succeed. So 50-50.
I didn't mention Poles. That's not what I said. I said maybe we can get a left tackle, a center.
Guys still got to play and be good. Just because you pick up.
If I want to pile on them, I'll pile on them. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm saying just keep doing what you're doing. Let's get that number 8 pick, and let's get somebody to take care of the rookie. Help take care of the rookie. That's my opinion.
Well, I want to thank everybody who showed up. Thank you. The comments were packed today with comments and everything. Please hit us with the HBO special. Help a brother out and hit the like button. If you're on here, hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything to help us out. Also, recommend us to your friends and family. Anybody who's Bears fans, we have more content on this channel. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Monday nights, fantasy football. Though we're coming up on the last week of that because this is championship week for most leagues. Thank you for tuning in. Just a quick shout out to my Illinois Fighting Illini. We got a bowl this year. We play on New Year's Eve, so I'm happy about that. Let's go U of I, Illini, baby. That's all I got.
Amp, any final words?
Hey, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Appreciate your comments. Tracks, I appreciate you, bro. You know, you the one first got me started on this. Tracks, my brother Richard, everybody else. Coach Commish, Crooked Commish, Coach Chef. Appreciate you, brothers. Not really in a festive mood today, but I appreciate you, brothers, being here. You know what I'm saying, and taking the reins and doing what we do. And like Coach Chef said, help a brother out. Like, subscribe, and share. You know what I mean? I appreciate you. Bear down.
And if you know some corporate types, we would gladly take a sponsor.
Yeah,
just saying.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely. So, but
I ain't saying.
anyways,
I'm
guys,
just saying.
Take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I may not have Bear highlights right here, but I do have some highlights from Week 16. No, fantasy football highlights of the top 10 football plays that I put together from Week 16. So I'll leave you. That's my little gift here that I'll leave you here. It's not going to be Bears highlights. So
it won't be any Bears highlights. It won't be any Bears highlights. Keenan Allen, maybe.
Anyways,
maybe Keenan Allen.
Be safe. Enjoy these highlights and be safe. And thank you for tuning in, and tune in to Tuesday, guys, and Monday for the fantasy show.
Peace and blessings.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Really every avenue. 1st and 10. Another big run. There he goes. He's got wide open space. A-Chan. Second chance for Darnold. Throw an end zone for Jefferson, and they cash in.
You would think that would have been called against him as well, and would have gone both sides. 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Now Gibbs stumbled after taking the snap, but it doesn't matter. Connects with Laporta.
Boyd goes in motion. Out of the gun, Rudolph going for it all to the end zone for Ridley. He's got it.
Looky, I'm Rudolph.
Little setback, Stevenson, handed to him. Stevenson rips through the first wave. Stevenson still going. Touchdown.
3rd and 8. What a big play that was. But right back, they get the first. Debo.
I'm Debo. Who? Debo.
Fights for it. What an effort. Debo into the end zone.
Off play action. Stepping up. Launching downfield. And it is caught!
Again. 1st and 10. Fake to Williams. Here they go. Higbee. 5. Leaping. And the pylon touchdown. What a play. Rams.
Ramrod. You get it?
2nd down and 7. And Locke looking. Ball deflected and intercepted. Taken back by Matthew Judon. The same. Hubbard. To the Hubbard. Dancing into the end zone and a Panthers victory.
Game. Blouses.
Holy mackerel. That is football.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
And now it's all over.